Have you ever shared your diagnosis and all of a sudden the room gets really weird? That happens a lot. It's amazing how people's reactions can hurt just as much, if not more, than the actual diagnosis, right? My name is Cheryl, and I'm a very late diagnosed autistic woman who happens to also have ADHD. And today I want to talk about 5 very common ways that people react to you sharing your diagnosis. We might as well think of them as 5 personality types because that's basically what they are. You know, I used to think that telling people that I'm autistic would help them understand me. And sometimes it did, but sometimes it did not. And here's what I've learned after years of sharing my diagnosis with people who I choose. Most people aren't actually reacting to the diagnosis. What they're reacting to is their own misunderstanding, their own fears, their own biases, and unfortunately that is projected on to us. By the way, today's video is in honor of my dear friend David in Canada. He's watching while he's buried in a foot of snow at least, and I'm sitting on my sunny back porch. Anyway, the first common reaction is, let's call him the minimizer. The minimizer might say something like, "Oh, you're fine. You don't look autistic. Everyone's a little autistic, right?" Well, what is really happening here is that they're uncomfortable with anything that challenges their worldview, and they minimize to make themselves feel safe. So when someone says you don't look autistic, what they really mean is, I don't understand autism, so I'm just going to put you in this little box that makes sense to me. And yes, it's very invalidating, but it is everything about their lack of understanding and nothing to do with you. The second person is the denier. This is the person who says, "Are you sure? I mean, maybe you're overreacting. Maybe the doctor was wrong." Your diagnosis forces them to reevaluate how they treated you in the past, and that can be very uncomfortable. So denial is often guilt in disguise. You know, if they accept your diagnosis, they have to think back about all the ways that they treated you or misunderstood you or hurt you. And so it's easier for them to just reject that instead. The third type of person is the savior. This is the person who says, "Oh my gosh, don't worry. I know just what to do. This is what you need to do. Do this, do this, do this." Oh my God. So they jump into fixing mode because sitting with the emotion of it is hard for them. So here's the thing about the savior. They mean well, but often what they're saying feels like pressure. And the last thing we need is pressure. What we need is to feel seen and understood and accepted. The fourth one is the quiet one. They go silent. They change the subject. They get awkward. And what's really going on is that they're feeling very overwhelmed and they don't know what to say. Your vulnerability is triggering something in them. Their silence isn't rejection. It's just that they don't have the emotional capability of responding. Some people were never taught how to be there for someone in moments like that. It's not their fault. All right, so then the last person is the supportive person. Thank God. Okay, this person says things like, "Thank you for sharing that. And what does this mean for you?" Or, "How can I be a better friend? How can I support you in this?" Isn't that nice? It's so refreshing. What's really happening here is that they're emotionally mature. They're safe. They're safe to be around, safe to share with, and they want to lean in. They don't want to pull away. They don't want to make it all about them. They're good listeners. So these are keepers, by the way. These are people who you want to keep in your inner circle. So when I first shared my diagnosis with the people who I chose to share it with, I wrote down their reactions. These are quotes. Okay. One person said, "Oh, well, you must have a mild case of it because you don't look autistic and you can work." Another person said, "Well, if that's how you want to identify." And they really felt like they were being supported by saying these things. Everyone's a little autistic. That's why they call it a spectrum. All of these are from people very close to me. And then another person said, "Honestly, I think I am too." So anyway, their reactions told me a lot about my relationship with them. and I love them, but I think everyone's intentions are good. It's just not everyone sees me or sees you the way I would hope. So, in closing, this is a takeaway. Your diagnosis doesn't change who you are. It merely explains who and how you've always been. When I was diagnosed, I thought, wow, now everything makes sense. How people react is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their understanding. And remember, you're allowed to choose who gets access to the deepest parts of your story. I hope that helps, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.